Okay, so how's things, everyone? My name's Damien Quinn, and we're talking to you from Tune Community Radio. And today, I've asked a good friend of mine, Charles, to come on and share some of the messages he's been sharing with me. I suppose, Charles, for a bit of context, we knew each other a long time ago in TCs back in the day, and we hadn't seen each other in a long time, and we reconnected recently as this year. And from my own personal point of view, I've seen a massive level of growth in you as a man. And I was actually, when we first met, I was actually quite moved by it. So I want you to kind of share some tools and techniques you use to go from where we first met to where we're at today. So fill us in.
Thank you, Damien, for having me on. I appreciate it. Where do I start? My journey really began in 2019 with this personal development kind of thing. I was introduced to a book. I wasn't a reader. The book was called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I was really intrigued by the principles that people use in all aspects of life, in business and family. So one of the chapters stood out to me was persistence. And I said, I can change if I decide to change. So it's all about decisions. We chose to get up this morning. We can choose to stay in bed. We have options. So I said, there has to be more to life. So I read that book and I made a massive shift in my thinking. And I said, I'm going to go back to education.
Okay.
Now, for context, I left school after my junior cert into my fourth year. Leading up to that point, I was rebellious, trying to get out of school, causing trouble. We were more times in the principal's office. Father Eustace is based in Castlebar. He'd know that. My mom was more times in with us, getting complaints that the lads don't want to be here. Equally, that was correct, but we wanted to be treated fairly. Not going into that, but the education system then wasn't what I hoped it to be. I was allowed to go back to class and just do what you want, basically. So I wasn't challenged. And okay, so I decided that I was going to do a few things, and this all came from that book. So I started setting goals. Never knew about goal setting. I set major goals at the time. One was to jump into education. Didn't know what that looked like. So I headed into GTI, started year one, then I went on further and completed a bachelor's degree in business, marketing and sales.
Brilliant.
So that's a 4-year degree. Not bad for a dropout, but it's all about the mindset. I went in with an open, mature mind.
Okay.
If I had to go in 18, 19 out of school, I might not continue, I might have dropped out because I was influenced a lot by my environment and others.
Can I ask you about that then? Okay, so first of all, one of the steps I want to ask you is, what steps did you take to get into college? What did you have to do to get into college?
First, I had to make the decision that I wanted to do it. Then I had to look at what courses I'd be interested in and what pathways there was. A lot of this now was my own initiative and action. I took it upon myself. And this is important, I should say. I can't do it all on my own. I've met some beautiful people on my journey that's helped me, advised me, directed me. So I had an interview with GTI. In fact, if you ever hear this, Maria Boner, congrats on your retirement. You retired.
Okay.
20 years or 25 years GTI. She was the lecturer over the business course. So I had an interview with them and I was accepted into advanced business and information system. So I jumped into that. I found that very difficult because there was a lot of stuff I didn't know and get my head around that. Because I done so well, that opened the door of further education, which initially wasn't the plan.
Okay.
So I ended up I reached out to GMIT, that's what is formerly known as ATU now. And I was interested in finance economics. I wanted to get into that and I was accepted into that course. But because it was a 3-year course and I didn't have the full understanding around that it was a degree, I said, I need something different. So I changed over to a different course. That was the marketing and sales. Now, I initially thought it was 50-50, but it was more marketing and 10% sales, learn about sales. And on that journey, I mentioned this to you, which was very interesting. I have an uncle who lives in the north, and he put me in contact with a guy by the name of Tommy O'Gorman. I kind of explained his story a bit. Very successful businessman. He's an entrepreneur and a philanthropist. And he spoke to me when I was in GTI for 1 hour on the phone. And he said, get involved in sales. So that's why I've done the degree. So I'm waiting for next chapter, which is utilizing what I've learned and developing it and growing. It's all about learning and growing. And that's the mind I have now. I'm open to learning. I had a closed mind, but we had limiting beliefs, and we spoke with that as well.
Yeah, well,
I had so many of them. And environment, like we've heard it said that you are the average of the 5-6 people you associate with. I've noticed that in my life growing up. I used to mix with people who used to like to drink. Some of them are good friends of mine. Today I don't drink alcohol or don't bother with any narcotics, thank God. And that has helped with the change as well. I'm happier within myself. I'm more in tune with myself. I'm well aware of myself, meaning that I know what motivates me. I know what gets me down. And I am a very, very optimistic person. I see the good in everything, and I try to, sit with if there's an issue and I say, okay, what are my options here? I'll always look for the silver lining. That wasn't me. That was sent. That's a grace sent by God. God gave me that. And I'll talk about a few things about that after. But
why did you feel the need to go on a personal development journey?
Why? That's a great question. So let me break it down. Life is beautiful. I see that now. But if you picture or visualize a time in your life where you were just getting up to exist and get by, that was my life. Times I didn't want to get up. Now, I must say here, I didn't suffer with depression. I suffered with boredom because I never knew what the day was bringing. I didn't have structure in my life.
Yeah.
That's an awful place to be. That's a very dark place in itself to be. So I was just existing, getting up, going through the same mundane thing, unmotivated, not willing to change. So if you're not growing, you're dying. That's why there's so many people suffering with depression today. They spend a lot of time living in the past, things that cannot be changed. They also spend a lot of time living in regret, which kind of brought this change around because I'm very interested in psychology and people, especially why was I doing the things I was doing and how do I change that? And it all comes from the patterns of beliefs, thoughts, and the stories we tell ourselves. So I said, I want more. I want to change. Not only for me, but for the younger generation coming up, especially my children, that there's 2 forms of education. I tell them about that. It's important to have the street education, which we have, and the formal education, because it helps with breaking down the walls that we put there before ourselves or that are there.
Yeah.
So how do you break wall? You keep plowing at it. You keep going against it. And that's what I do now. And that's what I'm currently doing.
What were your limiting beliefs at the time?
Well, that I couldn't do certain things, that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't accomplish these things. And at the time, this was what I was receiving from the environments I was in.
Yeah.
Like in school, some of the teachers taught me, others they didn't want to. I had one great teacher, I went to visit him last December, business teacher Martin McDonald. He inspired me. He's part of the reason I went back to education as well. You only need one person in your life that sees what you don't see. When you look at the mirror, when I look at the mirror, we see different things. We see all the things that are wrong. One person may see that light that's there, that spark. Just help feed that for you to grow. He saw that. He planted a seed that wasn't fed. But there's a timing for everything in a season. I wasn't ready. It's important you have to be ready as well. So
you have to be ready to receive the messages.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, I suppose, speaking about teachers and that type of thing, that I suppose would have been a very important person in your educational journey. We have a mutual acquaintance, Ivan McPhillips, I only found out that he taught you recently enough as well. Like, but for those that don't know Ivan McPhillips, he would have been considered pretty much number one for community development right across Ireland back in the day, and he still is. He's done a lot of work for Ballyban and areas like that as well. And he taught me, well, he introduced me to the concept of community development, empowering ourselves, empowering marginalized people and that type of thing. And just by chance, your name came up in conversation, and we put two and two together. So I suppose when you refer to the teacher in the business studies teacher that lit a fire in your belly, I suppose Ivan McPhillips certainly lit a fire in mine and inspired me to go on my own community development journey too. So what was your experiences with him?
So, with Ivan, when it wasn't even a seed, Ivan was put in my path. I was only thinking, and it was only a thought, and there was no action behind it, of maybe going back to education. How would I do that? This is years before GTI. This is before the journey. Like, I'm a man with ideas, and sometimes I just pull the plug on them. Other times I just shut them down. And he spoke to me at the time on the phone, and we had a conversation, and that was it. No conversation years on. But the seed was up there. Then he reached out to me and asked me would I do an interview where he's doing a PhD on ethnic minority groups, and he's very committed to community. So he interviewed me about my days in education and different what the future looked, and I had a great experience with him. I got to see different side of those who love teaching, who are interested in people's change. And I have this thing, and it's very interesting because I tell my little girls that to see change or to be part of change, you have to be on the inside. I was on the outside looking in, and still on the outside, but for change to happen, you need to be on the inside. So I got to see from his perspective how he operates with his students. And also I got great compliments at the time from him, which was important. He said I was very articulate, and as I mentioned, I laughed about it because I didn't know the meaning of the word. I had to Google it. And he sent me an email to that, and it kind of said, okay, so there's one strength you have. You have...
Well, I've described it as a gift, because you do have you have a great way with words. You're very outgoing, like I've seen you kind of networking and all that type of thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Nothing phases you, and you come across friendly and all that kind of stuff, and determined and funny and all that type of thing. So it's a gift that you have with regards to kind of communication and connecting with people. So I was very lucky to witness that with you most recently as well. So with that then, like, I suppose, what is the plan? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve?
That's a great question. Because that's something I'm trying to answer for myself. I know that it has to be mission focused. It has to be something that is greater than myself. I love to serve. I love to serve to a point where I want to help people, but not feel used in the process, where I'm not neglecting my duties as a father and a husband. So before I came here, I had a coaching session with a new coach, and there are things we're going to jump into. And the theme keeps going back as to serve. I gain lots of energy from connecting with people. I'd love to start something in business, but to do that, I would like to develop the skills, to become better.
Okay.
And then take that out into industry or into the world and help. I could see myself, being a great motivational speaker, because I speak from the heart, but I speak from experience, and I speak from love. And I love people. I love, as an example to that, you say you've seen and you witnessed the way I connect with people.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not with anyone, it's not that it's a natural thing. It's just that because I'm open and I care. And maybe because it was a point in my life that I didn't care for myself or others, that I seem to meet a lot of younger people or middle-aged people that suffer a lot with mental health, and that have self-harmed. And I just like to speak from a place of, there's a better day. You know that song?
Yeah.
Better days are coming.
Yeah.
I love that song because it's true. Now, you and I went for a walk the other morning after 7.
Yeah.
We got to see the sunrise. People don't see that for themselves because they're in a very dark place. So what I would like to be is a bit of a light for those who are in the dark, because I was in the dark, but not to the point that I had to suffer with depression or anxiety is because I didn't know what my purpose is for life. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's a journey, but I'm on it. I need to get clear on what I really want to do. I would love to have businesses that give back, but also that gives me a way of living and stability for my family. So where does that start? It starts with me being in an industry and developing.
Okay.
In a job or position or career that I'm willing to do for nothing, for free. Now, I thank you there's a few opportunities that you were bringing my way, and because of my energy level and because I gain energy from people, that would not fulfill me and bring me to a bad place, very low place. So I need something challenging, but I need to keep turning up, become better every day. Don't lose focus. I need to know, like, life is short. Life is short, so I want to be impactful when I'm here. You know that.
Yeah, well, one of the things, like, I suppose it really stood out to me was like the whole personal development piece. Like, I'd always have been into, well, I believed I was always into personal development and that type of stuff. Self-improvement, like, my journey as well as I do, like the challenges I would have had. But I've never ever reconnected with personal development in the way I have since I bumped into you. Like, and I suppose it's all about kind of raising the standards in all aspects of your life, like whether that might be religion, it might be work, it might be family time, health and fitness and that type of thing. And I suppose what's the main driver? What's the main thing that you like to raise as a standard in your life today?
What's the main thing I would like to raise? Well, the one thing I have to say, and it's very important for anyone to listen, I know myself very well, and I know I can't do it all. It's about being open to meeting people and networking and trying to support each other. I say this to my little girls, it's not about me. We need to turn that M upside down. It's about we. We need to be unified together, go back to the community and supporting each other. Because I want to be the hand that pulls people along with me. I don't want to be the hand that pushes them down. I've experienced that. Now, what Damien did mention is I'm a member of the traveling community, and we've experienced oppression and racism, but I don't live there. That's just part of what I grew up with. So that's where the change comes from. I want to be better, not because it's not because I want to be better than anyone. I want to be better within myself, so then I can treat people fairly. Mm-hmm. Be more respectful, compassionate, empathetic to people's feelings, and that what I see is not the whole picture, that there's a lot of stuff that's not being expressed or shared. How do we do that? It's by listening, observing. We have to be interested in each other, but we're not. So many times we're focused on what can I get from this, for those who will listen to this, don't close yourself to the opportunities of networking and connecting with people, because one person could change your life. And if there's someone listen to this at some point, that's what I'm looking for, is network, connect with people who have done it, who can do it, and who can help me do the things that I want to do for others. So it's about giving back.
Brilliant, yeah. And just on the whole traveller community side of things, I suppose, like when we moved back in the UK, we didn't know anything about the community at all. But as young lads, we needed people, to look out for us and that type of thing. And there was a traveller community that looked out for us in June here. And I say quite openly all the time. So I'm very, very fond of the community, and the community is very, very fond of me too. But yeah, so and I suppose one of the things that you invited me along to led me to walking through 15 feet of hot coals. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So I want to say a big shout out to Robert and Esther, who gifted me and Damien tickets to go to Tony Robbins' event in Germany recently. And one of the things to do is they walk on coals. I think 2,000 Fahrenheit degree. They're very hot.
Yeah.
But the whole concept behind that is to overcome our limiting beliefs. If we believe in something so much so that it can prevent us from doing things like fear and faith. I always speak to people about this. Faith and fear. Faith asks us to believe in something we cannot see and leans into religion. And I do practice my faith, and I take my faith serious as a practicing Catholic. Fear is something totally different. It paralyzes people, keeps them down. And what is it? It's an acronym for false evidence appearing real. So it's a lot of BS stories we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. Who has told us this? This is a story we're constantly playing to ourselves. You know, how many people have done amazing things just because they decided enough is enough. Yeah. So that walking on fire is shock the mind, but overcome the brain from saying, yes, you can do it. You just need to be bold, have courage and faith, and step into it. We did it. We didn't get burned.
Yeah. And
it felt brilliant afterwards.
Yeah, it did, yeah. And one of the biggest things was that from that was it's all about how we talk to ourselves. And unless we correct the way in which we talk to ourselves, you know, we're at nothing. So always be kind to yourself, and everything else will fall into place. Fantastic experience. And I definitely have stepped up in a lot of aspects of my own life in a very, very short period of time, and committed to those goals as well. So
on that note, you just opened the door there. I was speaking about doing a skydive. Now I'm petrified of doing it. I'm not going to lie. But that fear is not holding me back. I'm dancing with that fear. That fear is coming with me to that plane. So, as you know, they say, I spoke about it for a while. And after coming back from the event, I contacted a charity, which is Temple Street Hospital in Dublin. And I'm doing a fundraiser on behalf of them. Because my daughter was there in 2023. She received amazing care. And we thank God and the team that she walked out, you know, amazingly. And she's doing amazing today. So I contacted Irish Parachuting, and it's out there now in the domain. It's basically, it's not in my head anymore. I'm not talking about it. I took action upon it. It's out there. The goal is €5,000 for the hospital. All the money through the link, which I hope you can link in with this.
We'll get it added to this. Yeah.
Goes straight to the hospital. So that's in March. That's already done. I just need to show up.
Yeah, 100%.
Now my brain will be saying, wait at home. But because I'm so committed and because my why is greater than allowing fear to overtake me, I'm doing it for children that are very ill, that need that support, but also to show them that they're my little heroes, that even though I'm fearful of doing something, I'm willing to persevere and push through it. They do it every day.
Yeah.
They show up, they turn up, they face challenges, but they're stronger. They make us stronger. So we can learn a lot from children if we just slow down and observe and just take our time with them. So I just want to mention that it's when you have an idea, let it be a business, let it be exercise, let it be a diet. Don't put it off. Take massive action there and then. Look at the pros and cons. If it's exercise, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be fitter, you're going to look well, your confidence is going to increase, you're going to be happier within yourself. If you say, I'll start Monday, if it's a Friday as an example, that's a long gap for your mind to say, oh, well, you actually have to change your food and your habits and all that. Instantly, you need to do it. You've done it.
Straight away,
on it.
Yeah.
So we need to take control of our minds. We control our minds. But the stuff that we feed it can become overpowering. The negative news, the stories, as we say, we spoke about, our beliefs. Who has said to you, Damien, or me, Charles, you're not good, you can't do that? As when we were in Germany, we heard about that guy who broke 4-minute mile.
4-minute mile, yeah.
They said it couldn't be done. He done it. Now millions of people have done it.
Yeah.
It's another limiting belief that we can't do something until it's done.
Yeah.
So it's about capturing yourself in that moment, regulating your mind and say, yes, I can. Step in with faith, trust yourself. You may fail. That's okay. There's learning in that.
Yeah. What did you learn from that? Yeah.
Because what I learned about myself at that event I want to be successful in business and in life. Now, people have different ways of defining success. There's people who are very successful and have a beautiful family. And I thank God I have a beautiful family. I'm very happy. I'm very successful in that area. They love me and I love them. But if a person wants to be successful but they fear failure, then that's a conflict that there will be no effort or there will be no action, because the fear of the failure will always hold that person back. Me being that person at a point. So you need to fail to learn to grow. There's a lot of great successful men and women out there. Mark Cuban, one, he said if you just strike out 99 times, you will hit once, and that's all you need. So that's all learning. It's all learning. So I'm interested in what's ahead.
If you were to share one, you're a man that likes to read. So if somebody kind of hears this and gets interested in kind of personal development, that type of thing, what would be the one book you'd love to recommend?
Well, the book that really changed everything for me, and they gained their insights from the Bible, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
And why that's so interesting is Napoleon Hill was studying to be a lawyer, and he was given a job, unpaid work, by Andrew Carnegie, who was the richest man in the world at the time. And he said, I'm not going to pay you, but what I will do is I'll open the door of opportunity for you. I'll introduce you to all the successful people within their fields. Imagine being offered a job to write a book or interview these people and not get paid for it. It's crazy, isn't it? But he did it. And because of that, he is I think it's one of the number one best-selling personal development books that's still being used, that has principles and strategies for daily living in all aspects of your life. Like the chapter that stood out to me was perseverance.
Perseverance is
So
huge.
going back to that, when I was in college, on my last semester of my last year, 2023, my daughter, as I said, fell ill. So I had to make a decision. Do I defer it? There was no option within that. That was always on my mind, defer it. But the thought entered, will I return? And that perseverance, when I walked through the doors the year after the finish, some of the lecturers were shocked that I came through, because I set myself a goal, was holding myself accountable for it. I'd done it. I finished with a 2-1, which keeps the door open for a master's degree if I want to. I graduated last November, received the award, and that's done. Next thing, let's move on.
Okay.
I always want to move on to something better. But I have to say this as well, it's very important. I never enjoy the moment because I'm so driven, maybe in the wrong areas as well, is that I need to slow down, and we all need to slow down to enjoy the small wins, the big wins. Because if you have that mind of what's next, nothing's going to fulfill you in that moment, because you're not going to be able to
enjoy it, embrace it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I didn't, but go back. If you're going to read any books, Think and Grow Rich, for those who are people who believe in God, the Bible, a lot of these concepts, it's there. It's there. Ask and you shall receive. I asked you, I said, can we get together and do a podcast, Timmy, so we can share? Someone out there might hear this, might need it.
Yeah.
Today doesn't define tomorrow, and yesterday is gone, can't be changed. Focus on this moment, enjoy it. We're not promised tomorrow, but be hopeful for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow, the sun will set, the sun will rise for everyone. It's what we do with the day that matters.
Man, Charles. Brilliant.
There's a bit of wisdom there for you.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I suppose, thanks a million as well to Joe and Greg and Martin and all the team at Bulbrita for facilitating this, and massive shout out to all of the people in Tuam. We love the town a lot. We love the people in it. And we'll be hearing from each other again soon.
Yeah. I'd like to add one thing. I spoke to you about starting a podcast.
Yes.
I feel that everyone has value to add to people's lives. If there's someone that will listen to this, that has a podcast, that has done it, and that might want to share with me or Damien or the team, we'd appreciate it, because we need to be a beacon of light for people. There's too many people living in darkness, so we need to just put ourselves out there. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you for the team behind the camera who has brought us here. I appreciate that. And thank you for Damien for doing this interview. First of many.
First of many, yeah. Mine, Charles.
Thank you guys.
Not bad. Thank you.